Want to make your house feel like a home? Do you love home design and decor but don't know where to start? I'm Kasie Savage and this is The Nest, your destination for all things home, decor, and lifestyle with a local twist. We've got your neighborhood experts that know how to keep it real, easy, affordable, current, and creative. So cozy up, grab a drink, and get comfy because today we've got the experts, the certified pros, and all the tips, tricks, shopping picks, and advice you need to create your best nest. How many times have you been in your home and maybe you're walking around and someone has left a piece of clothing or a scarf or an item, maybe it's yourself, draped over the arm of a couch and you think, you know what, that actually looks kind of good. Well, these happy accidents are more than just accidents. They're a great way to shop your home, and it's about using fashion as home decor, and nobody knows how to do that better than professional home stager Elise Volpe, who's here with us today with all sorts of great tips and tricks on how you can use fashion in your home to spiffy up and create vignettes in all sorts of interesting ways. Elise, you always have such amazing ideas, so thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me again.
Okay, so I'm looking around here, and I know that we've got some photos that you've brought in because you yourself, you follow your own advice and you create special spots in your home to showcase fashion.
For sure.
As home decor. So let's take a look at some pics right out of the gate. And what have we done here? Ooh.
So obviously this person has a really nice collection of shoes and handbags, and they've displayed them on open shelves. And I think it's just such a beautiful way to show off stuff that you love. And they've put some plants and other things like candles in there to really cozy it up and make it feel special.
I can see that upstairs, maybe, you know, in your master bedroom, even if you've got an expansive walk-in closet.
For sure, as a transition area to a closet.
Okay, and what about this?
This is actually a framed silk scarf. So if you find you have a scarf that you don't love and you don't wear all the time anymore as something around your neck, consider framing it. I think this is stunning the way they've done this.
Oh my gosh, especially if, let's say, you went to Italy or something and you bring back, you know, a scarf, something beautiful that you're not going to wear.
Or something vintage from your grandmother.
Okay, this is so charming.
Yeah, this is a bit of a different style. This is more of a country cottagey type of feel. And I actually have done this at my own cottage and used hats that I wear, my sun hats, and just put them on the wall in a nice display. It's just about function and beauty working together.
So you just grab one off and put it on your head?
Exactly.
Or do you just leave it there? Do you actually use the ones that you hang up on the wall?
I actually use them, yes.
That's great. Okay, and then what about this entryway?
So this is just, you can see someone has placed their hunter rain boots there artfully. And again, I actually do this at my cottage. I have a bright yellow pair of wellies, and I just leave them by the front door because they're pretty and they match with the color scheme I have. So think about leaving them out. And then this is just using what most people consider a bookshelf or a display cabinet for shoes. Again, why hide away these beautiful pieces you have in your closet? Put them out on display.
And it's kind of a win-win because it takes care of a storage issue that so many of us ladies may have when it comes to footwear.
For sure.
And you get to show them off at the same time. So those are all great ideas. And in fact, you know, I was telling Elise a couple of weeks ago what happened was I showed up here on set and I had this shawl on and I just tossed it onto the side of the sofa from Saturday afternoons. And I thought, you know what? It actually looks like this really beautiful plaid. It's got the fringe on the end.
Yep, it does
I'm like,
look
this
great.
actually looks good here. So we've kind of left it here for a few of the episodes. But what do we have on display here on the table?
So again, these are just some items from my home, and you just have to be creative about the way that you display them. So this is just a little item from HomeSense, and just stick a hat on it, and it looks like it was meant to be there, and it's just a little bit of interest in your home. Here's some little display cabinets right here, and you could use those to display your bracelets, anything that you have that you love. Just makes it look like it was on purpose.
So it has to look intentional. So I guess that's the key, right? You can't just toss a hat across the room and it lands on the coffee table. Well, you think, voila.
You know what? Sometimes that works, and that's where I got the inspiration, actually, was that this throw is something that I toss, just like you said. And I was thinking, okay, I actually, and I also use it as well, so it's functional. And then right here, I've actually taken a shadow box and placed a beautiful necklace in here. This
so
is not a piece that
pretty.
you wear all the time.
Right.
So, you know, the 1 or 2 times a year that you wear
Yeah,
it,
it looks so good.
why not place it in a box and put it on the wall?
Yeah, it looks so nice, especially when you've got these statement necklaces that you're right, you're not wearing every single day.
Yeah.
So instead of stuffing them away in a jewelry box or in a closet, put them in a shadow box, and just such a pretty idea.
Yeah.
I want to just as well go over to the corner because you've set up what looks like a high-end retail boutique, the kind where you have to ring the doorbell and someone lets you in after they suss you out to make sure you don't look suspicious.
Exactly. Well, this is not my stuff. I wish it was, but you know, if you have these beautiful things, again, display them out. Some people have, and it doesn't need to be really expensive stuff. You could have vintage luggage pieces that you want to stack up in the corner.
Some
That's
trunks
a really
maybe.
beautiful, yeah, trunks, exactly.
Yeah.
So just be creative in the way that you display it, and you can change it up all the time as well. I think that's really important is, you know, put it out, and after 6 months, if you want to change it or alter it, then...
I love the idea. It's like merchandising your home, especially if you've inherited heirloom pieces that you think, you know, I wish there was a way to show these off, creating those little vignettes. So fantastic. Elise, thank you so much. You always have the best tips. And then I go home and I spend the whole day walking around creating your ideas in my own home. Okay, coming up after the break, we have Dave Clayton here from Alair Homes, and he's talking about home automation. Sounds high tech. We'll be back right after this. Home automation, what does that mean to you? For me, it's trying to figure out a way to get my Christmas lights to turn on. I can't even figure that out, but I'm kind of behind the times. I'm a late adopter. Home automation is so advanced these days, you can literally control virtually anything electronic with the touch of a finger from your smartphone. But here to give us all the inside scoop on what we can expect, how we do it, from Alair Homes, Aurora Newmarket, we have father of a precious little newborn babe, Dave Clayton. So nice that you woke up, put the toothpicks in your eyes, and showed up for this segment.
It's not always easy these days, but yeah.
Diaper duty or the nest? I don't know. So for home automation, I asked you this earlier. I mean, what are the basics of home automation?
Yeah, so it basically, home automation kind of consists of any way that you're controlling things electronically, remotely within the home. So lights, television, audio, just about anything.
To anything. So for example, I said that we have a pool where I can, from my phone, and believe me, I did not set this up myself, the pool company did, control the waterfall, control the lights from my phone, which is fun. And that's, you know, a frivolous type of home automation, I guess, but there are lots of really practical ways, energy saving ways to have your home completely automated. So I guess the most popular would be heating, right?
Right, absolutely. So climate control is kind of the #1 thing. So, you know, when you're away, obviously you don't want to be heating or cooling your house more than you need to, wasting all that energy. So yeah, simple things like the Nest thermostat that I think most people are familiar with. You know, on your drive home, you can say, hey, I'm an hour away, let's turn up the heat. So you're not coming home to that frigid house in the winter.
And get the house all cozy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although I can see home automation wars occurring between spouses, where it's like, oop, and then someone else is, oop, like lowering.
The key is to not let your spouse have the app.
Oh,
on their
right.
phone. Right.
So yeah, so I guess I would maintain all control of the home automation.
Exactly.
So you brought some photos, and let's go through those because I think sometimes it's easier to see visually because there will be some wiring and such involved in automating your home. So what's this we're looking at?
So this is a console, kind of your wall-mounted iPad, if you will, that would control all the automated aspects of the home.
Mm-hmm. And so basically just the touch of a button with your finger, you can decide temperature, what you're doing. And you mentioned in-floor radiant heating. You can control that as well.
Yep, absolutely. So here's a kind of the home menu for that console. You can see all the different things that this particular system would control.
Wow.
This is a very in-depth system. We're
Blinds.
controlling everything, blinds, security system, home audio, just about everything's controlled right here.
Okay, what kind of price is involved
So
in fully automating your home?
It varies drastically. So, I mean, we can start simple, small things like a Wi-Fi enabled thermostat, about $100. A Wi-Fi enabled light switch to just control the lights in your living room, as low as $30 for something
And then
like
sky's
that.
the limit.
Sky's the limit. If you're doing full home automation, where we're getting into wiring the entire house and putting a full server room in the basement, tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands. Okay, besides convenience, what else would you say are the main benefits?
So security and peace of mind, really. You know, people want to know what's going on at their home when they're away. You can tie this into your security system, your video cameras, surveillance throughout the house. You can even keep an audit trail that notes all of the window and door sensors. It keeps track every time a door opens or closes. It logs it into the system.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that sounds like actually almost a full-time job, monitoring.
Right.
I can see how at work you would become obsessed with monitoring your home. What's going on here? Our producer Julia mentioned earlier actually that with her home, she has just outdoor cameras set for the driveway, and she noticed that a courier had remained a little too long lingering on her property. So she grew suspicious, and of course, you know, eventually the police came to check things out because the guy looked a little bit suspicious, the way he was kind of walking around the house and peeking in windows. So definitely peace of mind security-wise as well. Also, I hear a lot of people who have teenagers or kids who are entering the teen years. It's a great way when you say you head up to the cottage without your kids to find out whether or not they're studying for that big exam or having a party.
And curfew check in a lot of ways. Hey, you know, Johnny didn't come home at midnight like he said. So yeah, good or bad, depending on what side of the table you're on.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, as you mentioned, there's kind of the low end, hey, all I'm really interested in is controlling a thermostat, to the absolute high end, where it's basically a high security prison.
Right, yep.
Where you can keep tabs on everyone and everything at all times. So in terms of getting started on something like this, what's required basically?
So again, it kind of depends on your budget and the scale that you're looking to implement. So if it's something simple, a thermostat, a light switch, you know, most home handymen can just do it themselves. If you're getting into something a little more high tech, where we're now controlling security systems and all other aspects of the home, you definitely need to consult a professional on that.
Well, and you said there's something as simple now, which I had never heard about, as a Wi-Fi light switch, that you just install that one little Wi-Fi light switch, and now you can control that remotely from your smartphone.
Yep, absolutely. And most people can install a light switch on their own, so that's not something that you'd need to get all the expense involved and consulting there.
I guess the key is you need a smartphone, step one, because this isn't going to take you very far if you have a flip phone. Thank you so much. Stick around because we will ask you for your professional tips at the end of the show. But coming up next, we have Jackie Kovacs, editor of York Life magazine. She's got her Love It list, so don't go anywhere. Okay, welcome back. It's that time for the Love It list. My favorite part of the Love It list is the fact that Jackie Kovacs, editor of York Life magazine, scours the region in search of the very best. And this week it's all about texture and not sponging a wall to give it texture.
No, as interesting a trend as that was way back when.
Or ragging the wall.
And it's also not having to invest in a huge piece.
Committing to a sponge-painted wall. This is so much easier. So texture is really all about three-dimensionality, and so you've gone to Niche Decor, their brand new showroom.
Yes, in
Newmarket.
Yeah.
So you know they've got that great big store in Aurora, and they have one in Newmarket as well. And you found some great examples of texture that aren't going to break the bank.
Exactly, and also just depending on what you feel like doing. If for instance, you're looking for sort of an elegant touch of wood, this is an easy piece to put on a foyer table, on a side table. You can leave it as is. You could put dry grass in it for even more texture, and it's beautiful. It's like a little piece of art. And it's, again, low commitment and on trend. It's also got that wood and distressed stuff that we're seeing on trend as well.
So nice. This almost looks like a very tribal piece. I will say, lifting it up, that there is some heft and weight to it because my right bicep is currently trembling.
And also has uses in fitness.
Ooh, yeah. So texture is so important. Why? As opposed to just having a house that's just...
It adds interest and depth, and also I would say warmth. And it's not that one flat thing. It just gives things a bit of character.
And sometimes it's literally the only thing that's missing from a room. When you walk in and you're like, what do I need in here? What's missing? It's texture. Okay, let's talk about this pillow.
Yeah, this pillow is awesome because not only does it have pattern, but it actually has this kind of woven, almost a homemade rustic feeling to it.
It's almost like a tapestry on the, like it feels almost like a rug right on the front.
Absolutely, and it gives that a hint of interest and depth and it just feels nice. You're kind of drawn to it. And, you know, you could do this, or Nisha also had some beautiful kind of velvet cushions, which is another way to add softness. And velvet's pretty big right now. But this just caught my attention because it's that classic black and white.
So says you, as you wear classic black and white.
That, you know, doesn't tend to date either.
It's true. It's so nice to invest in pieces that are going to stand the test of time. Also, two ways, vertical or horizontal to display this pillow. Down-filled, by the way. So, I mean, this
cushy.
is a high quality pillow. And sometimes you might have just some inexpensive pillows on your couch, but just to pop in a couple of these as well to dress it up and add that luxe look.
Absolutely.
Very nice and nubbly. Nice from Niche Decor.
Nubbly.
I also noticed there's a zipper on here, which if you have children or pets, you will eventually be putting this in the wash.
Absolutely.
So that's good to know.
Right.
Okay, what about this interesting centerpiece?
Well, this is a great take on flowers because it's floral, it's pretty, but it's not going to die on you.
Right.
And very low maintenance, which is good for a serial botanical killer like me. And look at, I mean,
You're
texture.
the Dexter of florals.
I am. And this is texture on steroids. I mean, look at it. There's so much, and yet it's beautiful. And again, put it anywhere. Foyer, dining room, side table, bedroom, wherever you like. And you've immediately got a point of interest and beauty and, yes, texture.
It looks so great. Okay, the texture queen, Jackie Kovacs, here with all sorts of great tips. Don't go anywhere because we love your tips in our final segment coming up after the break. What we do is we talk about all of those questions, those viewer questions that you have sent into our Facebook page, The Nest with Kasie Savage. We're going to address those questions right after this, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You know, I think we need a behind the scenes show because the chit-chatting that happens when the camera's not rolling is a show in and of itself. But right now, what we're going to do is focus on your questions. So as a viewer, many of you send in your questions via our Facebook page, The Nest with Kasie Savage. And this week, we're going to have a little chit-chat and discussion with our pros. Professional stager Elise Volpe is here. We have Dave Clayton of Alair Homes, Aurora, Newmarket, gorgeous custom homes. And of course, we have Jackie Kovacs, editor of York Life magazine, here to give us their wisdom and just flood us with great ideas. So Stephanie in Aurora has sent in some pics of her home, and she's looking for an update and some inspiration. I think so many of us can relate to an entryway like this. Double doors, they've got the stained glass windows. This house is probably about 30 years old. She's looking for some ways to make better use of this entryway. And on the flip side, when you walk in the door, this is what you look at. You look at a staircase that is that classic honey oak with white on the risers. And she's looking for something a little more contemporary, some fresh ideas, maybe even paint color. She's open to anything pretty much, which is easy for you, Elise Volpe, because you can put your thinking cap on. And when you look at a space like this with an entryway that just has nothing much going on but that little bench and some framed art, what are you thinking would be a better way to make use of that space?
So I think in that area where the bench is, it would be a great opportunity to have an area for storage, for things. She was saying she needs to make better use of that area. You could have a lot of useful items stored in a beautiful chest of drawers there. And I would put a mirror there and create a nice little vignette by the front door.
So a vignette. So when you talk about mirrors in the front entryway, personally I like them because it brightens it up, usually with the doors. When you look at those double doors, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of them because we live in a similar neighborhood, what else can you do door-wise? I see a lot of people sometimes painting the back of those white doors an interesting color, maybe even black or like a dark slate color. What's your opinion? Or replace the doors completely?
I think that's a great idea. If you can't replace the door completely, just dress it up with a coat of paint. Maybe change out the glass to a more modern glass. If you want a little bit of frost in it, you can add that.
And when you say add that, you don't mean personally do the frosting yourself, because that's never a good idea, right?
No, not recommended.
Okay, so Dave, what about you? I know that you got all excited when I told you we were going to be looking at these pics because you said, oh my gosh, we just did this. Yeah.
Yeah. So the staircase, pretty common nowadays. We're doing a lot of home renovations where we're wanting to refresh that entryway, get a new look for the staircase. Rather than doing a whole new set of stairs, simple things like we can change out the spindles, going from your wood to maybe a cast iron, refinishing the wood itself to a darker stain, repainting. You can give that whole staircase a totally new look at a fraction the cost of replacement.
Oh, really? What are we talking about when you say a fraction of the cost? I just like to hear, how much would it cost to replace all of those wood spindles with, say, iron?
So if we were going to retread all the stairs, do all the spindles together, you'd probably be looking at about $4,000 to $5,000
for a brand new staircase.
And it looks totally new, right? As opposed to 10 to 15 for a whole new set.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I can see that's a good cost savings. Now, Jackie, you look at the front entryway, and what ideas pop into your mind?
Well, what you said, first of all, about painting the door. I mean, talk about an easy way to add color and interest right away. And also, just picking up on what Elise said with storage, I'm thinking really pretty bench, lovely cushion that you can change up with the season, the color, and and also that practical storage inside.
Now, Dave, what about the idea of converting double doors to a single door with side lights, which would then give you more space? Because the double doors look like they're taking up the whole front entryway.
Right.
And then maybe you could have a spot for built-in storage as well. So is that a possibility?
Absolutely. And you never really open that second door, right? It
Yeah,
usually remains stationary until you're bringing in a large furniture. So your door opening is relatively fixed without doing any major work. So that whole opening can be redesigned, side lights, transom window, and then a larger single door in the middle.
What kind of doors are you doing a lot of yourself lately?
We're finding a lot of customers are going toward fiberglass. So fiberglass doors, kind of the sky's the limit.
But fiberglass that looks like wood.
Looks like wood, looks like metal. But again, sky's the limit. It can be finished in any way that matches the home. So kind of whatever you like.
And Elise, you mentioned painting the doors on the inside. What color would you go? Are you like a bold pop of color person, or let's just stick with black?
I love black. I think it's rich and it grounds the space, but I would talk to the customer and see if they love color, then I'm not opposed to that either.
So I think that's key as well. When you guys are working with clients, when you're coming up with design ideas, how important is the customer's vision as compared to what you see for the space? Does customer always rule if they say, I want hot pink doors on the inside, or would you try and talk them out of that? Because I know, Dave, probably you come across some ideas that you think, I just know this is not going to work.
Yeah, and I'm not a designer. I don't comment on design decisions. When it comes to functionality, obviously I'd like to give my 2 cents there, but everyone's got a unique taste. So our goal is to make sure that they're happy with the end product. If
the customer's happy, everybody's happy, right? And so, Jackie, what about your own home? What do you have in your current entryway?
It's funny, we used to have this teeny little table with a little mirror, and then there were shoes everywhere, and and then we got a very large, what would have been a sideboard, and we repurposed it, and we put baskets in on the shelves so that my 3 children, in theory, put their shoes in there and their, coats, hats, whatever, not coats, but hats and mitts.
Yeah.
And then my husband and I each have a drawer for keys and cell phones and lots of other things now. But at the beginning, it was keys and cell phones. And, yeah.
And it's evolved.
Yeah.
Well, as a mother of 3 boys, I feel like I need to put up, I either recommend very durable paint on the walls because my kids walk in the door and I'm not sure why this is in their DNA as little boys. They kick their shoes off instead of bending down and removing their shoes. So anyway, Stephanie and Aurora, I hope we gave you some tips that you can implement. Maybe we inspired you, and anyone who's watching this episode of The Nest, I hope you feel inspired to shop your local home store, maybe add some texture, or maybe it's shop your home, find your favorite fashions, maybe it's an heirloom purse, and put it on display. Elise gave us some great tips on how to take fashion into home decor. Till next week, I hope you enjoy your nest, and we'll see you soon.